Nope.
Alright, right here, I'm just following up on a previously done preventative maintenance. I had to go back and do a double take because the customer wanted us to go back and just make sure we're being as thorough as possible. So, right here, I'm just opening up everything, taking pictures of everything because there is a need to do all this for the customer. And honestly, I'm not as thorough as you're seeing right here. I do quick inspections and everything, but at the request, we can definitely be a lot more detail oriented with our inspections. That's alright with me, I don't have a problem with that. So, right here, I had already prepped everything just to give it a good wash because I don't think we got to this unit, or maybe there were some other things going on. But right here, I'm just making sure my hose connection is good. It's dripping out right here, and I just got to make sure that if it does a drip or fall, that's gonna fall into that mop sink. Right here, I'm taking up these filters that were brought to me by one of the dispatchers. Appreciate that a lot. For the most part, I ran about at least 100-foot hose, and that was pretty much enough to work on this package unit, RTU. And let me know in the comments if you guys recognize the brand of this type of unit. I've been lucky enough to work on one of these and had to change out a compressor one time, and let me tell you that the space wasn't as forgiving and it caused a lot of headache for me, honestly. Right here, I'm just opening up everything because in my mind I'm going to wash this unit. I'm gonna do my own maintenance. I'm just gonna quickly remove all the dust, remove everything here, get the electrical dusted out, and then I'm gonna run a hose on it. Weirdly enough, there was, to what I thought, some oil right underneath that VFD panel, that little drive there. Anyways, as you can see, I'm just making sure I got everything prepped and ready because I'm gonna run the hose in here. And here I go with the hose, making sure I could just flush out all this dirt and dust. It may not be as necessary because this compartment is not really being used for emergency heat or anything, but it does give a better aesthetic to when you're uploading the pictures, you know. And right here, I'm watering down the compressors. I don't really see why not. Sometimes they're dirty as heck. Now I'm just going inside and outside of the condenser coil, making sure to flush the dirt out as best as I can, only because I'm using water only. And so this day wasn't as bad. It wasn't too hot, humid as it is now, but it was actually a pretty nice day. And I had to do some other programming actually, the thermostats, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. So right here, I'm just going as close as I can to the condenser coil, flushing it, not giving it too narrow of a water output. I don't want to bend the coils, so I'm just doing my best to flush them, going on both sides, because sometimes the dirt can be on both sides of those fins, and I'm just doing my best to be as thorough and efficient as I can be, because I got other stuff to do as well. But the call you're on is the one you should give your attention to. So right here, I'm just being mindful of that. Sometimes it's not like that, though, being honest. I don't know if you guys do it or not, but I like to wash the evaporator coils with some water. Sometimes it's not as easy to get a water hose to where you're running it, and that's alright. Sometimes you're just gonna have to use that evaporator no rinse, spray on those coils, and hope for the best. And honestly, we actually got called back out here because we weren't thorough enough, and I was the lucky one to come back out, but I was not the first one. So hopefully that clarifies some things. I had what I needed. I put these filters in. I know some people like to mark the filters. I don't mark the filters. I don't always have a marker on me. That's just not part of my loadout sometimes. Sometimes I do, though. But we have documentations on House Call Pro, so that shouldn't be a problem. And right here, my energy drink is La Jefa Pineapple. That one's pretty bomb. That one's my favorite so far. And right here, I'm just making sure to close up everything. I did have a lot of trouble with the high voltage conduit. For some reason, it was not staying put. I'm pretty sure they had to remove. Eventually, they're going to have to replace that. But for right now, for what it is, I just made sure to secure it tightly and made sure it wasn't going to pop out anytime soon to let any water in. And here I'm just putting everything back together because I'm pretty much done. It took a lot longer. I think it took like around maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes. But that was just once I started recording the whole process. I think I spent at least a good, maybe a good 45 to an hour reprogramming some thermostats and setting schedules. And making sure to check in with the client because, there was things that needed to be programmed. And here I am, just about to leave, and that's about it, man. Thank you for watching.